Hello and welcome to our class this evening. We're doing lunchbox recipes. I'm trying to, step out of the box and try new things. So I'm going to be demonstrating tonight some LCM bars, which is a different take on muesli bars or biscuits, muffins, those types of things for morning tea. And then I'm going to be showing shredded chicken and a new trending sort of Japanese dish that's going around socials at the moment called onigaratsu, and I could be saying that wrong, but it means sushi sandwich. And also, oh yeah, sorry, I just saw it chat. You're right, Sarah. Thanks for rushing to get on. And then the other thing I wanted to show was the ham cheese quinoa muffins, and I've got some pretzels to show you as well. But we'll just dig in. So the first thing I wanted to start with is the LCMs because they need time to cook and set. So this is actually a recipe that I found many years ago on just a blog. I think it's called Sisters Mixin', but I was able to put it in my Thermomix because Cookie Doo 3.0, you're allowed to put in your own recipes on the TM6 screen. So I was very happy to be able to put it in. So I can show you what that looks like when you're doing a created recipe. The guided cooking looks a bit different to normal guided recipes because this is one that hasn't been coded in Germany. This is one that I've entered myself. So it looks like this. Or if I go back, it starts with this, and you can see that's my daughter Mia as my picture. And then if I press start cooking, it says cooking your own recipe. And then when it's time to add all your ingredients, you do need to press the scales button down here, and it brings up all the ingredients that are happening in this one step. So, and you tear between each one. It's pretty cool. So I will be putting in 150 grams of butter, just cubed. Oh, dropped on the Thermomix. I think, probably less than what I cut. Okay, no, that's perfect. Okay, and then I'm going to press the tear button to add my sugar. I'm just adding in raw sugar, 100 grams. Okay, and then I want 100 grams of honey. And I'm just using local raw honey, trying to support local bees and local produce. So it looks it actually needs warming because it's getting a bit crystallized, but that's fine for this recipe because the first step of this recipe is to melt it. So just making sure I get enough honey in. So in a lot of recipes, you can substitute honey for syrup or other sugars or whatever. In this one, I would say probably not because we need that stickiness from the honey that's going to combine our LCM bars together really nicely. So we do just want to stick with honey for this one. Okay. Sarah saying she loves the feature. Yes, me too. So then when you're in your own created recipe, when it's time to do the action, then we press the little blade button down here, and then it's preset as normal. So I've got 6 minutes, 100 degrees, speed 2. Now, while that's going, so it's not too noisy, I do like to go to the next step because while it's cooking, I can get my next ingredients ready. And it's telling me to get a bowl on top and weigh in my next ingredients. So I am going to take off my measure cup. It's okay because I'm just doing it quite quickly and it hasn't gotten hot yet. It's still very cold. I'm not doing anything that's unsafe. So pulling up my scales. So I'm putting in just the cheap brand of rice puffs. I want 150 grams of rice puffs. So obviously that's the main ingredient. Okay, and then I want 50 grams of coconut. I have a giant bag because I like to buy things in bulk. And then I want 50 grams of sunflower seeds, optional. I like to add seeds into a lot of things wherever I can. It's just adding extra nutrients, different vitamins that wouldn't otherwise be in our diet. So the kids have grown up on seeds, so they're happy with that. But it's also pretty undetectable in things like this. And the last ingredient there are some dried cranberries. So just to add a few little bits of interest in the LCM bars. Again, optional, you don't need to have those in. So now I can take that bowl off and put my measure cup back on like it's supposed to be as it's starting to heat up. We're at, yeah, they're getting hot now, so that's good. Cool. So then I just want to mix this together. If you wanted your LCM bars to be chocolate flavored, you could put cocoa in or just like melted chocolate buds. Once we add this hot mixture in here, the chocolate chips or buds or melts or whatever would melt in. So that would be really easily done in the next step. Now, while we are also waiting for that to cook, still got a few minutes, I want to show you another thing that I made earlier today. Not to do with what we're doing with the LCMs, but just another lunchbox idea. So I was with a customer this morning and we made some basic bread dough where we mill the wheat grains and it's a very basic bread dough. It's just the flour, yeast, oil, water, and salt. So 5 ingredients. And normally I make that into either rolls, a loaf, or scrolls. And my kids love scrolls. I make them very regularly. I make 30 at a time, which is 2 batches of the dough that I roll out. And I like to think the time it takes me to make the scrolls, even though it does take me a little bit of time, it's definitely much quicker than making 30 boring sandwiches. So it's worth that time I spend once a fortnight to make those scrolls for the kids. But today I wanted to try something different. So with my bread dough, I separated it into little balls, rolled it out into ropes and formed pretzels. So I made a whole batch of pretzels with my bread dough that I was making with customers because I just wanted to try something different. And then once they were cooked, and so, sorry, backtrack. They're not real pretzels because real pretzels, once you've formed the shape, you dunk them in boiling water that's got bicarb soda in it, and that's what makes pretzels that crispy, beautiful texture that's crispy on the outside. So I haven't done that. This is just normal bread dough that I've formed into the shape of pretzels, which a lot of people would then call bretzels. So then once I took it out of the oven, I just added some grated cheese and some garlic salt and put it back in the oven for another 5 minutes so that it would melt and bake. So the kids love it when I do different things like this. So it's just making normal bread dough a bit more interesting by doing different shapes, adding different toppings. Yeah, just playing around with the same food that is good. And then because I've got the milled wheat grain in there, that's actually got a lot of vitamins. When you're freshly milling grains, the vitamins, actually wheat grain has 22 different vitamin nutrients that are lost after a few days of it being milled. So if you're buying all your flours, that is perfectly fine, and that's what most of us do, and that's a good filler. But if you're milling your own grains to go in your doughs, you're adding so many more nutrients and it will obviously be a bit better for them. So that's what I like to do with that basic bread dough. So I just wanted to show you that. That wasn't really part of the class, but something, just an idea. So I'll put that away. Yeah, so the LCM bars, like I like to have something that's homemade for the kids to take in their morning tea. They also take in some cut up veggies, but homemade muffins, biscuits, muesli bars, there's so many different recipes available either on Recipe Community or on Cookie-Doo, or even if you just go to Google and type in the word Thermomix muesli bar, Thermomix muffin, you will find so many recipes that will be great additions to the lunch boxes because homemade is awesome. You're saving money, then you know what's in the food, and the kids love it. The taste is always good. It's always nice and fresh. Also, if you can get them involved, it's a fun activity for the family to do together, cooking something together, which It's obviously fun. So the next step of this recipe, I want to just, it's not too exciting to show you. It's just like, looks like melted butter, but it smells absolutely amazing, is just to add some vanilla paste. So I actually make my own vanilla paste because there's a delicious recipe on Cookie Doo where you just, it's basically just vanilla beans, water, and a rice syrup. And so it makes a really nice, strong tasting vanilla taste, which is really cool. And I just buy vanilla beans cheap on eBay, so in bulk. So, and then I'm going to mix that just for a few seconds on speed 3 so that the vanilla is worked into the melted butter. Oh, Karina has asked in the chat, will I share the recipes? Yes, absolutely. Probably tomorrow I'll be emailing everyone the recording from tonight as well as the recipes so that you can find them. Sorry, I should have mentioned that earlier. Okay, so now this is, you can see how basic this is, but the Thermomix makes it so easy just being able to heat up those ingredients for us while we weigh in the other ingredients. You know, normally you're at the stove stirring, but on a low heat because you don't want to burn your butter. But Thermomix just makes it so easy with that temperature control that it's stirring and heating for you at the same time. So you can get out of the kitchen if you need to, or like what I've done tonight, just stand and chat. Okay, so I'm just scraping all that out, giving it a stir. And I can hear some of the crunch. My kids really love this recipe and they're happy to have it just as is, but you can add choc chips at the top or whatever. Sometimes I add some sprinkles and they get really surprised because I'm always trying to limit colors and things, but I'm not like super duper strict about it. I just try where I can. Yeah, so that's all good. So then we have our tray ready with baking paper. And this is another reason why I love this recipe is you don't need the oven on. This is a set in the fridge recipe. So anything that's easy like that is a good one to whip up when you've got a spare few minutes to get this happening. So the only thing next to do is press it down firmly so that it doesn't crumble when you try and slice it. So and that's why earlier I was saying you do want the honey in this recipe. You don't want to try and substitute that for maple syrup or a different kind of syrup or sweetener because the honey and the butter work really well together. And you can just use your Thermomix spatula, or on the mix shop they sell these flex core spatulas that are also really good. Either work well. I just always grab whatever is easiest to grab. Now, if you wanted to add chopped chips, you'd do it now up the top rather than earlier. If you did it earlier, it would melt in and the whole thing would be chocolate, which is also another great way of doing it, of having the chocolate LCM bars. But yeah, okay. So I'm hoping this sets by the end of the class. I did want to keep tonight's class quite quick. We'll just see how we go. I've pressed it in quite firmly, just kind of really pushing it in there. And then just to surprise my kids, as I said, I don't normally add color, but I'll add a few sprinkles just to make it a bit fun. So that's going to go in the fridge. I'll put it in very soon. But what I'm doing next is moving on to the next recipe, which is one that I've made ahead because of the cook times. I wanted to maximize our time together. So I was able to cook ahead to make this a bit easier. Oh, I got to get the right one there. Oh no. Sorry. Oh my gosh. So this is the shredded chicken and it's not coming up. Okay, so yes, so I wanted to show you how to make shredded chicken, which is very versatile for lunches. You can do lots of different things with it, even just having it prepped in your fridge ready to go in a salad. So here it is. Hello, I wanted to show you how to make shredded chicken very simply. It's very easy, but as a byproduct also to get some liquid chicken stock as well. So this is a 2-for-1 recipe and we'll just get into it. So we are putting in some onion. So if you were just making shredded chicken, you didn't care what the flavor of it was like and didn't want the stock, skip these first few steps where we're adding in the flavor. So I've got onion here and I've also got garlic in there too. And then we're putting in 1.5 liters of water. Okay, a bit more. I'll do 5 mils off. And we're putting in a teaspoon of salt, which I've milled in the Thermomix because I like to have no additives. So it's just rock salt that I've milled at speed 10 for 10 seconds. And we're going to put in some pepper, just however much, it's all to taste. That should be good. It says up to 1/2 teaspoon of pepper, and we're putting in some herbs as well. So I've got rosemary, oregano, a bit of parsley, and some leaves from the celery going in. Whatever herbs, it doesn't matter. So now we are going to put on the simmer basket on top of the lid. So take your measure cup off. The simmer basket goes on because we're cooking above 95 degrees and we want that steam to escape. So we're just going to heat that up for 4 minutes. So you've got time to go get your next ingredient ready, which is just the chicken. Okay, that is finished. So I'm going to take off the basket and see what our next step is, which is to insert the basket to steam our chicken into. So it just says to weigh in the chicken. It does say chicken thighs, and I normally use thigh for everything, even when recipes say breast. But today I got breast thinking most recipes for shredded chicken ask for breast. And then, of course, this one asks for thigh. But I'm here to tell you it doesn't matter. We're shredding chicken, and so whatever. So putting that in. Oh, and we're going to season that. So just add some salt and pepper to the top of the chicken that's in the basket. Okay, now we're going to be cooking this. And because the basket is being used inside the bowl, we can use the measure cup on the outside. And that's going to cook for 12 minutes, 90 degrees, speed 2. And then we'll be shredding. Okay, that is finished cooking, so we will just remove the basket using the hook on the spatula. I've got a plate here ready to catch any drips. Oh, a bunch of herbs coming up with it. That's okay. So we are going to set aside this chicken. It says to put it onto a plate to cool because you want to have it cool before you shred it. So you can also chill it in the fridge if you want, or if you want it just warm, you don't want to wait for it to cool or chill it. Just you can skip that step and go straight to. I want to put these herbs back in the stock. You can go straight onto shredding if you need to. So set that aside. That's all just been poaching there in our liquid that you can see. So as for the stock, if you put the straining basket back in, or the simmer basket, we can use that as a strainer to get our liquid stock out. I just put a finger or a thumb, just see this part here where my finger is. I'm holding that simmer basket in place using that finger as I strain out the liquid so that the onion and the herbs and everything stays inside the bowl. And we've got this beautiful liquid chicken stock ready to be used in anything. Soups, risotto, cooked pasta, stew, anything that needs water. But it will have that yummy flavour. Just be mindful of how hot this is. Better read what it says. Yeah, Nothing else to say about that, but just straining that out. That looks, I think I've got it all there. There's a little bit more in there I can strain out if I jiggle it around a bit. So then you're going to discard, I'll just show you what I've got in there. In the bottom of the bowl, there's just the onion and the herbs and everything. Just discard that. You don't need that anymore. But you've got almost 2 liters of chicken liquid stock, and then we'll come back to shred our chicken very soon. Okay, our chicken has been chilling in the fridge, so I'm just going to place that in. And then we are going to put the lid on with the measure cup. And this time it's on reverse because we don't want to mince the chicken too much. We just want to pull it apart. So we're going on reverse, speed 4 for 5 seconds. And then you can always see if it needs more shredding and do it longer, but just a few seconds at first. It's usually done by then. We're doing it on a lower speed because we don't want it totally minced, as I said. And then it says use as desired. So as for lunch boxes, my plan for this shredded chicken, let me just show you, pretty shredded. I might actually go another few seconds though, maybe another 2 seconds. Yeah, so you can always press the back button and do things again. Just see how that goes and watch it shredding there. Yeah, that looks great. For this shredded chicken, if you're using it for lunch boxes, you can obviously just use it as is now. That's sort of perfect shredded chicken. Or add mayonnaise, add some mustard, or add sweet chili and mayo, or add a sauce, teriyaki sauce, or whatever it is you're doing. And then you can put it on sandwiches or in wraps with other salad ingredients or just on their own. I am also going to be using some of this in some sushi. So that's another thing you can do with your shredded chicken. It can really go into anything. If it's not for the lunchbox, you can add this now into soup, stew, pastas, like literally anything that you need chicken to be in. So even just having some of this in the fridge means you've got protein ready to go if you want to make up a quick dinner, and you can just make up something else really fast and just add some chicken in. So yeah, that's the shredded chicken with all this liquid stock. So yeah, enjoy. Just a PS, I thought I would show you because I'm doing this anyway. The mix shop sells these fabulous vacuum seal containers to keep your food fresher longer and to cut out waste and just be generally fabulous. So I'm actually putting my chicken in this container so that it's ready to go for when I need to add it to whatever I'm doing. The wand sucks out all the air to make it last longer. So because I was doing it anyway, I thought I'd just turn the camera back on and show you that. It takes a few seconds to get out all the air. I use this for like fruits, veggies, berries last in there really long. I cut half avocado, leftovers. Okay. And so you just suck out all the air until the nozzle here has been sucked in, and then you know all the air's out. So there you go. So that's the shredded chicken. And so now with that, as I said, I want to show you how to make this onigiratsu or sushi sandwich. So I've got here ready some Glad wrap and my nori sheet. If you don't have Glad wrap or don't like to use it, that's okay. That it will still be okay without it. But when you're working with sushi, always put your nori sheet glossy side down. That will make it easier to work with. And I'm putting it in front of me like a diamond. And if you'll excuse not seeing my face for a minute, I want to show you what I'm doing down here. So basically, get your sushi rice ready, which I've cooked ahead of time. And so that's all cooled down. And the cookie dough recipe for sushi rice is perfect. There's a really good recipe for that. But it is very easy to make. So I'm just getting some of this rice. I'm just giving it a bit of a stir actually, because it's come out of the fridge very cold. So yes, just grabbing some of this rice. I'm going to form it together in a ball. Oh, it doesn't actually matter if you do a ball or not, because what we actually want to do is make a square on our sheet. So it's very cold rice because it's been in the fridge all day. But yeah, just basically a nice square in the middle. So at 90 degrees angles to your diamond. So, and don't stress too much about making it neat because we're going to be wrapping this all together. But if you have some water on hand, it's good when you're working with nori because the water is going to help the seaweed stick to each other. Okay, so I've got just a square on top of my diamond. Hopefully you can see that. And now it's up to you for whatever toppings you put on it. So I've got a little bit of the Kewpie mayonnaise, which you can make in your Thermomix. It's very similar to a normal mayo recipe, but it's got wasabi in it and it's very yummy. So I'm actually putting some of that on because I like it. Just on top of the rice, like that. And then I'm going to put in, where is it? Some of the chicken that we shredded earlier. So just to open that container, you do need to release the valve so that the air gets back into it. So I'm putting this chicken on just as is, and it was cooking in the flavor of that stock with the onion and garlic and everything. But if you wanted it to be flavored now, you could totally add teriyaki sauce or any other sauce you want to use. I'm happy to do this plain with the mayo, and I also like to add a bit of sushi ginger. I love this stuff. I think it's so delicious. So I am adding a bit of that on if I can get it out of the jar. Just in a sort of thin layer. I really love it though, so if it's too much, I will still be happy. And then some cucumber, or you could use cabbage or lettuce or anything. So this is really an anything goes recipe. If you want to make this vegetarian, just do some veggies instead of the chicken. You could add tuna. If you're eating it straight away rather than sending it for lunch, you could do some seafood as well, like prawns or whatever. And then the last thing on top is to add a bit more rice. So just adding that on top. We're going to be squeezing this together once we wrap it. So when you cook the rice, it stays together very nicely, but after being cold, it seems to want to crumble a bit, which is totally fine. So obviously, yes, you can roll this like normal sushi rolls, but I did want to show you this trending thing. So next, I'm going to wet the edges a little bit of my nori roll, nori sheet, and then just wrap it up like a parcel. So being a little bit delicate, I'm going to fold that bit in so that I can pull that up top. And on the other side, just like a really cool parcel. And then we can squeeze it together and get that rice mixed in with the nori sheet. And then I'm going to wrap it in the Glad wrap, which is going to help that squeezing process. And so the video I watched said to keep it wrapped for at least, well, about 5 to 10 minutes so that it can really just meld together. And then you can slice it either in diagonals, so you've got triangles, or down the middle, so you've got 2 rectangles. Or if you don't want to slice it, you can just send it to school just like that as a cool parcel that they can just munch out of. And I would send it on a brick, like an ice brick, so that it stays cool until lunchtime. But there's your sushi sandwich, or onigiratsu. Hopefully I'm saying that right. If any of you are Japanese, you're going to be hating that right now. So that needs to go back in the fridge. And I want to show you the next. I am interested to know actually, is anyone, after seeing that and seeing how easy that is anyone interested in making that? It could be a fun activity to do with the kids as well, putting those parcels together. Yeah, I don't know. It's a trending thing. I'm not on TikTok, but I'm told it's going around. Yeah, Charlie, and even a good dinner. And Lloyd gave a thumbs up too. Yeah, so yeah, totally could be a dinner. It doesn't have to be lunchbox thing. Anything goes with these trends. So the next thing I wanted to show you is another. It's quite a healthy alternative to go in the lunchbox, and it's we made this today earlier. It's the ham and cheese quinoa muffins, and then so my kids had some when they got home from school because it was on the bench, and they said it tasted just like quiche. So they're happy to have the healthier version, and they enjoyed that. So I'll show you that in a second. Sarah's saying it looks great, something different. And Michelle says, my grandkids would love to make that. Thank you. Cool. Well, yeah, and you'll get the recording if you want to watch back on how you fold it. I'll actually include a diagram on how to fold it properly in case my camera angle wasn't good enough, but it really is just wrapping a parcel. Okay, so I'll share here's one I made earlier. Muffins, because obviously the quinoa has cook time. So hopefully you learned some tips from this video. Oh, actually, I just have to say something as well before I press play on this. Towards the end, the audio cut out. I think my AirPods might have died without me realizing. So the very last part is me dubbing over, trying to remember what I actually said the first time. So I'm so sorry about that. It's very cringy. Hello, today I wanted to make for you these ham and cheese quinoa muffins as a really good alternate to a lunchbox snack that is healthy and just something different. So we'll get started. And first of all, it asks you to preheat your oven, which I've already got happening, and to get silicone muffin cupcake liners into your tray. You can use paper or whatever, and I'm also leaving one blank because I actually trust this rose gold muffin tray. Normally it's very non-stick and fine. So I wanted to show you or show us all together if this particular mix is a non-stick in there. But my kids really like the silicone liners anyway. I think they think it's a bit of a novelty when they're getting something in that, which is a bit weird. Okay, so now it's just asking us to add in our cheese. So you can see the scales have come up. As I add in the cheese, the scales will go up. It asks for 100 grams, and I've chopped my cheese in little cubes just to not put pressure on the blades over time. And now it's asking for some Parmesan as well. So 2 types of cheeses. If you didn't have 2 types, just use the one. It's asking me to put the measure cup on. And then we're going up to speed 9. Set that aside back in the bowl. Okay, so you can see we've got our cheese grated there. And now we're going to cook the quinoa. So I've seen 2 ways of cooking quinoa in your Thermomix. Sometimes you use the simmer basket, and I've seen it also just using the absorption method in the bowl with water in it just in the bottom of the bowl. So either works fine. So I'm just going to, and if we go back, yeah, it doesn't matter about cleaning your bowl. So I'm putting in a litre of water. And also I've seen some people rinse their quinoa first before they put it in, and that's what I usually do. And this recipe doesn't ask us to do that, so I'm happy to just see what happens with that. So we put in, and I've made this once before so long ago, putting in our simmer basket and now weighing in the quinoa, which has not been rinsed or anything, it's just dry. And if any of the little grains go through the hole of the simmer basket, I'm not even going to worry about that because I'll show you how to retrieve those later. Okay, so I put in 130 grams of just dry quinoa from the pantry. Putting on our lid, and we're going to cook that for 20 minutes, 100 degrees, speed 4. So if I just show you what we've set it to, the recipe was already set, so all I had to do was turn it on. And now to look ahead, so in that 20 minutes I can get organised for the next step. If I press here, I can go to the recipe detail, look ahead, and know that now I need to go get out my parsley, spring onions, zucchini, ham, some eggs, salt and pepper. You can also look at the nutrition guide and some different tips down there as well. But when you're ready, just press continue. We're back in there. So I will obviously be back soon once that's done. Okay, that has just finished. So I'll take off the lid and you can see, hopefully it doesn't steam up the camera too much. So it asks us to remove the simmering basket using the hook on the spatula there. If you ever aren't sure, sometimes videos have, recipes have videos so you can see what they mean. So you can see it's showing how to do that, but I can just show you. So you use the hook to get out the basket like that. And then you can just set it aside somewhere. I should set it aside on a plate to let that drain for a second. So, and then it says rinse and dry mixing bowl. Now, if you were worried, it's hard to tell at this point, if you were worried that any of the quinoa came out into the water when we first put it in your basket, what you can do now is put this over the sink and pour the water over it. So any leftover quinoa is going to go from the bowl into the simmer basket. So I can do that now. And oh, there was a few. If I show you now that I've tipped most of it out, oh, you can see there's just a few little grains. So can put that in there. So that's our cooked quinoa, all nicely cooked. And that's just going to set aside to cool while we do the next steps. So it says to rinse and dry the mixing bowl. I do have another just to save us time. When you're a consultant, you get spoiled with so many free extras. And we're putting in, it asks for parsley. If you don't have parsley, you can either skip this step or use whatever herbs you've got. So I've got some oregano and the 2 spring onions it also asks for going in. And then we're going to chop that. So just on speed 5. And it wants us to scrape down with the spatula. So I'm just using the Thermomix spatula. It's the same as the one you all got with Thermomix, but it's green. It's just a different option. That's all chopped in there, and we're going to keep chopping with the next step. So some zucchini going in. It says 130 grams, so this is, okay, I might just do a little bit extra. And we're going to chop that on speed 5. And then it says to add ham that's already chopped, but I'm going to let the Thermomix do that. So, and I could have actually put it in with the zucchini. Doesn't matter either way. So putting in some ham, and I'm pressing the back button to get back to chop. Or the other thing you can do at any point in any recipe is press the home button up the top left, and then you're in manual mode where you can just chop that ham. I'm going to do speed 4 for about 3 seconds, and then you just press the bookmark to get back where you were. So you can always do that. So you can see the ham is nicely chopped in with the zucchini. I am going to scrape that down before we add the rest of the ingredients. So now we're just adding 2 eggs and 2 egg whites. And save your yolks because there's lots of recipes that use those. And if you aren't sure what, you can just type the word yolk into Cookie Doo and see which recipes use yolks. It's like there's ice cream, there's custard, cannelé, different pastries. If it's Christmas time, gingerbread. But yeah, there's other recipes that just need the yolks without the whites. Salt and pepper. Oh, don't forget the cheese that we grated earlier. And that should be everything. Nope, forgot the quinoa. Okay, so this, and it's all, well, I'm just making sure I get out that excess water. You can see it's still dripping a little bit. Otherwise, it's very fluffy, beautiful. Oh, you can't see. Nice fluffy quinoa. It's a really good method. 20 minutes Varoma speed 4 in the basket. Always cooks it nicely. And you can be steaming veggies or something else in the Varoma at the same time while your quinoa cooks, same as when you're cooking rice. Okay, so getting that all in there. And that's it. So as you can see, these muffins are gluten-free, in case that matters to you. And we're going to combine that on reverse. So on reverse, the blades are just using the blunt side of the blades. So it's not going to be chopping the ingredients too much. Even though on speed 4 it's quite fast, it's just a mix. And there's our mixture. I don't know if you can tell the texture of it. It's quite wet because of the eggs. And well, I will put it in the muffin trays next. So you don't really need to watch me do this too much, but this is why it's also handy to have the silicone molds, is you can just pick them up and do it easily. So I've just filled almost to the top. I'll keep doing that and I'll put it in the oven. So it says to put in, it says bake for 25 to 30 minutes or until golden, and that's at 180. So I'll do this and show you the end result. So here we are, we've got those ham, cheese, quinoa muffins, and they're all cooked. So I'll just, oh, it's slipping out. I'll just show you what we have on the inside. I did pull them out of the oven 5 minutes ago. They are meant to completely cool down, but I haven't done that, but I'll just cut in to show you the texture of what's inside anyway. So you can see it's brown on the outside, and then on the inside we've got the quinoa mixture, and you can see the texture in there. It's very soft and squishy and crispy on the outside. So I'll just have a taste to show you. So I can just taste, it's very similar to something like a zucchini slice, eggy texture. You can taste the cheese strongly, you can taste the quinoa, but the ham and zucchini as well. And I'll just show you the one that we didn't use the silicone muffin tray liner for. So I'll just use my knife to get around it and see if that comes out. So it's coming out very easily. You can see brown on the outside, and there's a few little marks in the bottom of the tray, but nothing to worry about. So there you have our muffins. It's quite a good healthy snack to put in your lunchbox, and it's could be for morning tea or lunch. It's quite filling. It's quite a heavy filling muffin, and so it will be a really good snack to have. So enjoy. Okay, so that was and I've made, it had been so long since I've made those muffins, but then this afternoon when everyone was enjoying them, why did I take so long? And that sometimes happens with Thermomix recipes, where you make it and then you forget about it because there's so many new recipes. Every month they're giving us new things to try, and we forget some of our old favorites sometimes. While that was going, I was making more sushi parcels, but I wanted to show you the first one I made to see if it's ready to slice and see how it's going. So I'm just going to, you can slice it in diagonals to get triangles, but I'm just going down the middle, and I'm using a serrated knife because I think anytime you're doing something delicate, serrated is best. But I want to show you what it looks like on the inside. Oh, didn't get all the way through. Yeah, there's our sushi sandwich. You can't really see the chicken in mixing in with the rice, but it's all in there. Yeah, it looks delicious. It actually smells really good. So I will wrap that back up, ready for lunch tomorrow. But yeah, the others I'm probably likely just to send as a parcel. They don't need it cut. I just wanted to cut to show you what it looks like on the inside. So, okay, we've been 45 minutes. I wanted to finish very soon. Just one other thing I wanted to share with you all is how to find more cool recipes for Lunchbox especially. But if you're in Cookie Doo, I need to make, if you are in Cookie Doo, you can just type in the word lunch and see what comes up, or actually Lunchbox even, to see the different types of recipes that come up that all have that tagline. But the other thing is we have some particular lunchbox collections. So one of them just came out. If you're on the Cookie Do homepage and you go down, you can see what's trending. So at the moment, all of our new recipes are trending, which is awesome. There's a ThermoFit challenge happening at the moment with Noni if you want to check that out to be healthy. But the Lunchbox Ideas collection just hit, and that's where you can see the onigurazu. Those probably look a bit fancier than mine, but that's okay. And also those ham cheese quinoa muffins are in there, and a bunch of other cool recipes. This is another really good recipe using shredded chicken. Oh, something else I wanted to say about those ham cheese quinoa muffins. If we have any other vegetarians in here, instead of ham, put sun-dried tomatoes or anything else that has an interesting flavor to you. Yeah, but these tandoori chicken wraps are another really good favorite of ours. You can just type in, muesli bar and get all the different options of things that you can send to school. You can put kids or kid friendly to find other fun sort of children's food if it's children's lunch boxes you're after. I like to make the same for the kids as myself often, so whether it's for kids or me. But yeah, lots of different options for kids food. You can write healthy snack and see what comes up. So yeah, there's heaps of different ways of using Cookie Do, and you don't necessarily have to know what it is you're going to be making. You can just type in some keywords like, if anyone wants to get ready for Valentine's next week, look what's coming up. So you can just use keywords. Once you've found what you want to make, like here's another one that I like for hidden veggies, these chocolate zucchini mini loaves, but I actually just do it in muffin trays. So once you've found something you're wanting to make, you press the 3 dots on it. You can bookmark it, add it to a collection, add to your weekly planner. So say I want to make that tomorrow, and also add it to your shopping list because you want to get organized. So now when I go to my week, you can see all the things I made today. All your recipes are in there, and your shopping list is down the bottom. It looks different on the app, by the way, as to the website. But all your ingredients for all your different recipes, so I've got 9 recipes in here at the moment. It separates all your ingredients into categories, making it so easy to shop and get organized. And if you've already got something at home, like I've already got baking powder and bicarb and cocoa, just tick it off. But then if you're in the shops with your app open to the shopping list tab, as you put your item into the trolley, also tick it off so that by the end of your shop, your list will be empty. I've definitely got water. And if you don't want to be the one shopping, see this beautiful order ingredients button, my favorite, because this sends all your ingredients to Woolworths online so that they can do the shop for you, and you can do a click and collect or a delivery. And if you don't like the brand they've chosen for you, just press swap and you can find whatever brand you want if you're wanting to be healthier or cheaper, whatever. I'm a mix of trying to be healthy but also trying to save money, so I'm very random. That's okay. Yeah, and when you're done, add it to your cart. But that is Cookie Do in a very short nutshell. We do have proper Cookie Do tutorials where we go through a lot more than that. One thing I will say, actually, if you haven't done so already, in your profile for Cookie Do, you can change your filters to include more recipes because your default is to have Australia ticked. If you get rid of Australia and then just tick whatever languages you speak, you're going to have more recipes. So that's another little tip I like to share. So that's the end of tonight's Lunchbox workshop. I will just say also, I've done other Lunchbox workshops in the past where I've showed how to make scrolls and other cool things. So when I email you tomorrow, I'll include the link to those in case you're wanting to learn more. So yes, thank you for being on. I am going to just stay on if anyone has any questions about anything. once I end the recording, especially if you want to come off mute and have a chat or put questions in the chat box, that's fine as well. If you're interested in hearing about current promotions, I will just say, if anyone doesn't have a Thermomix yet, we have the most fabulous promotion on at the moment to get one for free by spending your time instead of your money. So normally you have to sell 6 Thermomixes to earn your own Thermomix, and at the moment it's only 4. So if you can sell 4 Thermomixes in your first couple of months of being a consultant, that's you earning your own TM6. And I just think that's really exciting. So if you want more information about that, please get in touch. I can send you a whole heap of info so that you can decide whether it will work for you. Thank you to everyone who's writing in the chat. The other thing I'll say is if you haven't hosted a demonstration yourself, you can get in touch with your consultant or myself or whoever and come and bring a few friends. We make food together and have a lot of fun. We have some really good host rewards. So I'll include what the host rewards are in my email tomorrow, but it's mainly just about having fun and sharing with them I love. And it can also be online if you don't want to be in home. So something like what we've done tonight, you could do that, but just more personalized with you, your friends, and your consultant. One more thing I'll say, since you're all still on listening to me, we have a promotion on at the moment for anyone who purchases a Thermomix to get that vacuum seal kit that I showed when I was doing the chicken. You get 2 containers and the wand valued at $132. That's coming free at the moment with Thermomixes. So I think that's all the promos I wanted to share. But thank you so much for being on. And oh yeah, I'll end the recording in case anyone wants to ask any questions.